Our top story tonight, the return of Vice President Mike Pence to the Coastal Bend on the anniversary of Hurricane Harvey. Air Force Two touched down just before 11 this morning at Corpus Christi International Airport, where the Vice President walked off the plane and talked briefly with a crowd of well-wishers before the ride to the First Baptist Church in Rockport. Pence, along with Governor Greg Abbott and other local officials, held a news briefing at the church and then proceeded to the sanctuary.
This administration is going to work with this governor, with all of the wonderful, outstanding volunteers and faith communities across this region until we rebuild Rockport and all of Texas bigger and better than ever before.
Pence thanked all the first responders, volunteers, and faith-based groups for their help for those in need after the hurricane.
As the good book says, the rain came down, the wind blew against the house, but even though it fell, this church was there for the community, and not just to rebuild themselves, but to help rebuild this community. And Dr. Jones, we thank you.
Church pastor Scott Jones says he's surprised it's taken so long for rebuilding, but thanked the Vice President for keeping his promise to return.
We're very pleased that he accepted the invitation to return and to see our progress and to see how much work still needed to be done in the community.
Governor Greg Abbott also acknowledged that the rebuilding is far from over.
And it's that team effort approach that led to, I think, the tremendous results we have achieved, understanding we have more to do.
And during the briefing, Rockport Mayor Pat Rios admitted that many residents were dissatisfied with the federal response.
Our federal partners, FEMA, SBA, they've done what they promised to do. Unfortunately, some of our citizens don't understand what they're supposed to do, and they're looking for more, but we try to keep that message out there that we are getting the help that we need.
Well, Pence reassured that there was more help than the $13 billion already spent by FEMA in Texas. He closed with words for other Americans now in the path of a hurricane.
People of Hawaii should know that you are on the hearts of every American, and I know they'll be on the prayers of people across this state and across this nation.